after a stabbing in the downtown. On First Person tonight, the opposition critic for Human Resources and Skills Development. A pleasure to welcome NDP MP Chris Charlton to Compass. Good to have you on the program.
Happy to be here, Bruce.
You've been a very vocal opponent of PEI changes that have been brought in by the Harbour Conservatives. You're speaking about that tonight here on PEI. What's going to be the crux of your message?
Well, we've certainly been hearing from people on the island how adversely these changes are affecting them in their everyday lives. Now it's harder than ever for them to access an insurance program that they themselves have paid for. And there's a real anger and frustration out there, and I think we need to be able to channel that energy and bring it back to Ottawa and keep fighting for change.
When this topic comes up, we hear the word seasonal attached to it all the time. There are so many concerns from seasonal employers and employees. Are you hearing that as well?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, seasonal industries are the backbone of many of the communities across our country, and suddenly this government is making it seem like that's a bad word to be employed in a seasonal industry, and yet those seasonal industries keep entire communities going. It's absolutely essential that EI be there, so we support the workers in those industries, the industries themselves, but also the communities in which they operate.
Do you think the system, though, needs some reform?
Well, I mean, we've put a proposal on the table. In fact, it was a motion in my name where we suggested we need to take away the 2-week waiting period. We need to actually make it easier for people to get benefits, not at 55% of their wages, but at 60%. The motion also included making EI available to people who are self-employed. Oddly, that's the only piece that the Conservatives actually picked up and acted on, making it possible for self-employed Canadians to access that benefit. In every other way, they're clamping down. Under these new reforms, 8,000 fewer Canadians will be able to access benefits. That saves the government $30 million. That's on top of a minister who says, you know what, we're going to root out fraud in EI, and it's going to save us $150 million. Well, if you already know that, then you've got a quota system, and you're telling your staff to meet a quota for rooting out reform. It's completely outrageous. If the minister knew that people were cheating the system, of course we expect her to take action, but not through some bogus quota system. It's time that this government actually recognize the contribution that seasonal workers make to our economy and be there with us to fight for positive change. And you will know on the island, Gail Shea was absent. She didn't even stay for the vote on my motion. She didn't vote yes, didn't vote no. She just walked out on an issue that really is of significant concern to thousands of her constituents.
I should mention, in Gail Shea's defense, she did let us know that she would have voted against your motion. As a final question tonight, for people who aren't involved in seasonal industries, what's at stake for them?
Those seasonal workers are supporting communities. So if you're a teacher in a community that has been dependent on seasonal industries, when those workers move out of those communities to find work elsewhere, well, those schools are going to close. The impact is going to be on every single person in that community, and I think everyone ought to rally together to fight against these reforms, and that's going to be my message tonight.
Right, 7 o'clock at Murphy's Community Centre. This is open for anybody who has concerns,
It's
correct?
a public meeting. Would love to see people there and be happy to take their messages back to Ottawa.
Good to have you on Compass. Thank you for the visit.
Thanks for having me.
Now, if you have anything to say about this or any of our stories, send us an email. The address, compass@cbc.ca. Our website is cbc.ca/PEI, and we're on Twitter. You can find us there, CBC PEI. Island teens spend the day learning how to think for themselves and express their own personalities when they're bombarded with messages from others. Maggie Brown has that story after a very short break.